I got him.
Yes!
Ooh-wee. Do you feel better, Ann?
Oh, these Sunday services with the big George W. hit a little bit nicer.
That's a big George W.
George W. www.georgew.com. Let's go and let's rein it in with one of these, baby. Crack 'em if you got 'em.
If you got 'em. And if you're out there and you're having a little crack 'em yourself, well, guess what? Crack 'em if you got 'em. Don't listen to that person who's telling you.
How about them Cowboys?
How about the Cowboys?
So lonely.
I said it midway through, I think it was the third quarter. Watching Cowboys football is a lot more fun when we're winning.
Dude.
It's way more fun, isn't it? Like last week, I was very wound up in the third quarter, extremely wound up in the fourth quarter. Today just felt fun. Today just felt very fun. I wouldn't, at no point in the game did I feel stressed at all.
No. I think the reality when you talk about like how we watch a game, it really comes down to like, I don't care if the offense is not moving the ball when
We're up by
hard age.
when we're up by 20.
Yeah, exactly.
Yeah. The red zone attempts don't seem to matter as much when we have a 20-point lead.
Let's not disregard that.
There's still a pattern.
I think there's a fair argument for people who want to talk about that. Absolutely.
Definitely, I agree.
Because when we get to the playoffs,
Playoffs.
absolutely, that's something we're going to have to consider. Although right now we're making a pathway to that point. And
Yeah.
I like what I see. I love the bounce back game, number one. Okay. I love what they held New England to. And if there's any coach in the NFL who is going to be able to scheme against you, it's Bill Belichick. I'm not saying he's the best, but I'm just saying
It's up there.
he knows how to play.
He's got to be pretty close on that Mount Rushmore of NFL coaches. He's got to pretty much have his face chiseled
Etched.
in.
Oh, yeah.
Chiseled.
No, 100% agree.
Rock-faced in.
I'm just saying, for those who don't agree, then like at least you can admit that he has some credentials.
Oh, definitely.
All that being said, we played a very good game. Do I think? Here's my question: do you think that the Dallas Cowboys offense improved enough to make you feel confident moving forward that they can take the game when they need to?
Man, you said something earlier. You said bounce back, right? A bounce back game super important. Last week was probably one of the since the podcast has been around for the last 3 years. We got to chalk that Arizona loss up as one of the worst losses that we've had, as far as our excitement and how confident we felt that we were going to get a win. So to come off of that game and then show up and beat down Bill Belichick and the New England Patriots 38-3 is a pretty big testament to what this team actually can be. Yeah, a lot of people will say, well, the New England Patriots aren't that great. They've played some decent teams. The Patriots played against the Miami Dolphins. They only lost by 7. They played the Jets. Sure, they didn't blow out the Jets, but they beat the Jets. Like, they played against some good teams. They played against the Philadelphia Eagles. I think they lost by less than a touchdown. So they have played good opponents, and this was by a long shot their biggest loss. So the biggest takeaway for me was we came off of a very bad loss against the Cardinals. We adapted, we game planned, and then we came out and had one of our most convincing wins. With Bill Belichick having a week of preparedness, with Ezekiel Elliott, with Will Grier. We heard all the talk coming into this game about them knowing our hand signals, them knowing our plays, and it couldn't have went better for us. Like, sure, you can nitpick about certain things, red zone woos, which are turning into a pattern, but for me as a Cowboys fan, it's hard for me to be upset right now when we just beat a team by more than 35 points.
Absolutely. And look, we do not live in a world of what ifs, but what if the Cowboys played well enough that they kind of negated that negative emotion from last week?
Oh, they did for me.
Absolutely. So, but for most people, I'm just playing a
Devil's
game here.
advocate?
Devil's advocate, I
You're
guess.
sitting up there just rolling some dice.
Week 1, 2, and 4. How do you feel? That's a, and I'm going to answer for that question, by the way. That's a dominant defense, sorry. Very good defense.
Well-coached defense.
Well coached. And I think the whole team has actually been very well coached outside of week 3. Now, what's the scare? Well, guess what? I'm going to tell you that right now. The scare is the Cowboys do this. They have great games. They have a series of great games. And then they have a fucking flubber where everyone's throwing their hands up and being like, where the fuck did this come from?
Yep.
Okay? They need to eliminate that.
Well, next week. Yeah. Next week, man. Next week's that test. Everyone, you looked at, and I was one of those guys. I looked at the first 5 weeks of the season. I'm talking about the offseason. I saw 2 matchups that I was worried about. One was week 2 against Aaron Rodgers and the Jets. Obviously, that didn't happen because Aaron Rodgers was out for season within his first 4 plays. So it felt like the first kind of 4 games, I thought the New England Patriots could put up a game. I was a little bit worried about them. But like everyone else feels like, our true test, and now since we've finished the New England Patriots game, we can really say our first real test of the season.
Here we are.
And the measuring stick is going to be the 49ers. By a long shot. They're a very good team. They beat the Arizona Cardinals by a few touchdowns, who we lost to last week. They looked very good. Christian McCaffrey is the absolute real deal. Brock Purdy looks to be decent. So the real measuring stick is coming up to next week, but I feel better going into that game coming off of a dominant win. Not even like a game where we needed to bounce back and have a competitive win, edge out a win. We took care of business today, right?
Yeah.
So I'm glad that the team's going to have some confidence going into next week. And I feel like the Cowboys play better when they are the underdogs.
Taking care of business over the Patriots than the Cardinals, I'm happy.
Yeah.
Right? But you're absolutely correct. The next game here is going to be the biggest test of the year. Okay? I'm happy we're going in with all the positivity and all that. But yeah, come to play. I'm on to San Francisco right now.
Chat.
What?
Trump says Mario.
Mario sounds drunk. That's not that's not Mario. That's WayJ.
Hey, that's not your first time being here, too.
No, you seen what we did.
Big O Chubbs was a massive super chat.
You're off.
You're off. Your mic's not even on.
Sorry, Big O Chubbs was a massive super chat supporter.
Yeah, he's the one that was making us drink more. So
Yeah.
this is the result of you super chatting us to drink more.
Guess what? Mario is drunk.
Big O Chubbs. Woo-hoo!
I'm a drunk.
We also have Hunter saying, I'm a Cowboys fan, but the 49ers fans is the real test next week.
He means the game.
Yeah.
The 49ers game is the big test.
Tyrell Thomas says next week is a test for both teams, more so for Purdy because we know how to play under series pressure.
Guys, last year in the postseason, in the divisional round, they beat us 19-12, right? Our defense played very good against their offense. Am I going to fall back on that completely? No, but I'm confident. I am confident going in this game, and I'm excited for it because it's going to really show where we stand in the NFL. Either way, get ready for it. This week's going to be we already know the narrative, guys. We already know no one cares that we beat the New England Patriots. It's all about, well, can you beat the Niners? And we're going into Niner week, and I can't wait. Sunday Night Football, Canadian Thanksgiving. It's just going to be set up for a good time. But before we jump into any of that, because we have a full show on Wednesdays dedicated to that. And if this is your first time in here, like and subscribe, leave that like button, punch that in, hit the notifications, do all that
get
fun
your
stuff.
butt over to our Wednesday show.
Yeah, and we're going to be doing the main event at 6 p.m. Pacific, 8 p.m. Central, 9 p.m. Eastern time. But before we do that, AJ, do you have the Kraken player of the game soundbite? Who has that soundbite? Because let's get into that before we even look at stats, because I think this is unanimous. I think this might be the first time this season that the Kraken player of the game is unanimous.
I do have it. Give me a quick second. Here we go.
Your Crackum Player of the Game.
Crack him if you got him. Woo-hoo! So,
Pretty obvious, right? Not so bland.
Daron, not so bland.
Daron Not So Bland's got to be the Kraken player of the game.
And it is hard for a defensive player because they don't got the snazzy stats. But Daron Bland.
Dude, he basically forced us to pick him.
Yeah.
Not only did he start it off with a nice pick 6 at an important part of the game, he then followed that up with another pick. So you get 2 picks, 1 for a touchdown. I feel like you're defaulted to Kraken player of the game.
Hey, look, the dude is real, man. I came in and I was like, okay, did he just have like the luck of the end of the year? Okay, give him that. But excited. And now he comes in, 2023, shows up. The dude's making plays. And it's not that he's getting interceptions. It's that when you look back at the plays that he made, he's moving on the ball in a, I don't know, I should say incredible way.
You shall say that. And again, we can kind of tap the brakes a little bit on it because New England doesn't have great receivers, but this guy's been doing it back into last year. He has a nose. Some guys just have a nose for a football. You could be the greatest corner ever and not have interceptions. This guy gets interceptions. That's just part of his game. He will take the ball away. Next week, I keep saying next year when we're talking about, maybe I'm talking about the NFC Championship game in 2024 that I keep saying. Next week when we play the 49ers, Bland is going to have a lot bigger of a test, but he definitely in his second week as a starting cornerback, he proved that he did belong. And people were talking about them being worried about Bland after the Cardinals game. He stepped up and showed he belongs at corner.
Well, in terms of receiving, let me just throw some stats at you boys.
Holla, holla.
We got
Send some
Ferguson,
stats.
7 for 77. Gallup, 5 for 60. Tolbert, 4 for 53. And Lamb, 4 for 36.
I do like that you went straight receiving.
Yeah,
we're going to do a little dance around. It's receiving, and then we'll
move back.
We'll move back in time. I like that. I like that we went with Ferguson. Ferguson, again, probably his best game this year as a Cowboy. He looked good. Every time he got the ball, he was making moves. He looked, his average was 11 yards, so he's picking up first downs. I thought he was one of our best players on the field today.
And last game, again, I can't remember the exact stat, but he did not perform necessarily on the score sheet, but he is a problem. I looked at his height and weight today with Ben Wagon Boy 2 here, or 1, sorry. I'm BWB1. Wait, hang on. Who am I?
BWB2.
Okay, there we go.
Bandwagon Boy 2, a.k.a. Way J, a.k.a. Vape 10, a.k.a. Screech Drunk 10.
Hit me.
I just punch him right in the face. Hit me. Whack. Just smack him right in the face.
What I'm saying is Ferguson was he's a big boy. Okay? Look, you first of all, we derailed me with a little bit of some fun Mario AJ, and I want people to enjoy that. But fact of the matter is, Ferguson is a big boy. He can fill in for both blocking, but that aside, he should be able to be that Schultz position that
Definitely.
we need.
And he was
I think
today.
Tonight we saw that. 7 for 77.
Okay, so I'm not even just saying Cowboys receivers. Look at New England receiving.
Yeah.
And out of these stats that you're looking at here, what's your biggest takeaway from the receiving stats from this game? Like, what is your number one takeaway that you're looking at all these guys? Because there's a lot of people that had receptions tonight, but what's your biggest takeaway from this?
For me, it's DeMario Douglas with that 42-yard long bomb. I know we're looking at it. He got 2 for 45, which is a much better stat line. First of all of the receptions on the New England side were very low. Glad to see that the tight end had the highest reception amount and yards, meaning that we were taking away all the wide receivers. But the only blow was that deep ball to DeMario Douglas.
Was that their first drive?
I think it was
First
first
or
or second, 42 yards, went deep. Cowboys corrected after that. Nothing to complain about.
My biggest takeaway, AJ, and this is something that we talked about earlier this week about tight ends, but Luke Schoonmaker, our second round pick, with Hendershot being out, I thought this might have been his chance to kind of step up, but he's locked in on the stat sheet: 0 receptions, 0 yards, 0 average, 0 touchdowns, 0
3
long.
targets.
Sorry, 0 touchdowns. That's what I said.
Oh, yeah.
0
Yep.
touchdowns, 0 long for 3 targets. That's not.
I know.
That's no bueno.
I know.
One off his hand in the red zone. He had a chance to scoop one up, and a nice ball from Dak. Yeah, it's a tricky catch, but if we said it on the live stream, watch along. If you want to be paid like a Kelsey, or you want to be even a Dalton Schultz, when you get your name drawn up in the playbook, and you get a perfect pass in the red zone, you gotta haul it in.
You got to haul it in. You had 3 targets, man. That's where is he?
Very bottom.
No, I know. You're getting nearly 50% of the targets that the top tight end is getting. Here, I love Luke. I want him to be good, but I do not want the Cowboys to hang on to a pick who is not performing. Move on to the next possibility. It sucks because he's a second round pick, but this is the pressure I want to put on him, is like, guess what? If you turn out to be a dud, we're moving on from you. I don't want him to feel comfortable in being like, oh, well, I got a year to develop. And same with Mozzie Smith, which, I mean, I'm going to have to wait and see what the stats say about
Yeah, I have to look at Mozzie too. The interior,
It's too hard.
defensive interior gets hard to look at. Can we scroll up to quarterbacks here?
Long story short, it's because of his draft pick that the demand is high.
Yeah.
Who? Quarterback?
Yeah, let's get QBs here. Let's check out the cubes.
Stats are up on the screen.
Stats are up on the screen. Oh, they haven't? Oh, okay. So we got Mac Jones in the New England Patriot, 12 for 21, 150 yards, 7.1 average, 0 touchdowns, 2 interceptions, only sacked 1 time, but he had a rating of 39.9
Dog shit.
and was pulled. He was taken out and
Early.
replaced by Bailey Zappi in the third. I don't know if I'm saying that right. I'm pretty sure I heard the announcer say Zappi. And then Zappi went 4 for 9, 57 yards, 6.3 average, 0 TD, 0 interception, 1 sack, and 65.5. So they combined for a 47.5 rating for the New England Patriots quarterbacks. That is not going to win you very many games.
Look, Zappi came in and had an equally dog shit game. The only thing he didn't do was give up 2 interceptions.
He didn't throw the ball away.
You look on our side, Dak Prescott, 28, 34, 261, a 7.7 average, which I think is pretty much where you want to be for a QB. 1 touchdown, no interceptions, 3 sacks, though, for 28 yards, but he ended up with a 109 average.
Yeah.
Rating.
That's pretty good.
Rating. 109 rating.
That's pretty good. I have, and you're going to hear people bitch about our red zone efficiency, and we didn't score enough touchdowns in the red zone, which is fair. It has been a pattern. It has been a problem, but Dak looked good tonight. 28 for 34, 261, 1 touchdown. If we can win ball games with Dak's stat line looking like that, that's more important to me than us losing a game that he goes 35 for 42, 4 touchdowns, 2 interceptions, right? Yeah. Like, I'm fine with his stat line here. I'm more than fine with his stat line here.
Absolutely. And the game that the Cowboys have played through the first 3 weeks plays into how the game played out today. Meaning, if I can explain myself, the Dallas Cowboys are into that kind of short game movement, expecting big plays from the defense. At least that's kind of what I see what's happening out there. But the way that Dak played, great. And the offense moved the ball strong. Like, I don't feel like the offense was ever waiting or needing the defense to bail them out, quote unquote. They played smart. We got down to positions where, arguably, agreed, the Cowboys have had a really bad chance of scoring, and they went to kicking. Again, though, that entirely leans into how much you're leading by.
Definitely.
And if you're up by 10, just fucking kick the ball.
Well, it was like before half. There was no reason. Before half, some people were mad in the chat that we didn't go for it on fourth down. But we went up by 3 scores going into halftime, and I think that was the right call.
Let me just read.
Well, hang on before you go to the stats.
No. I just want to read off the scores. It's relevant. First, for the Cowboys, first quarter, 10 points. Second quarter, 18 points. Scored.
Yeah.
So we're up 28. Third quarter, 3. Fourth quarter, 7. And New England scored only 3 points in the first and then nothing.
Shutout.
So I'm just saying, like, urgency was never really on the bill at any point in time.
And all I was going to say was EJ Savage said, George W. George
Big
W.
W.
It was.
George W.
It was a big George W. We George
George
W. the
W.
shit out of that today.
And then EJ also says, ads got shut down by Mullet Mario.
Wayjay?
Wayjay just shut me down there. Patrick Brown says, are we sure Mac Daddy Jones, as Barry refers to him, is still an NFL quarterback? Is it time for Belichick to walk away? A Belichick defense had 38 points on them. Credit, most of it has been our defense. So my question, I mean, and Patrick Brown is just talking about the Cowboys defense. Last week, the Cowboys defense weren't really existent. Can we ride the rest of the season out on our defensive laurels, or do we need our offense to start showing up?
I think the defense, actually, if you look back at their last 6 quarters going into the Arizona game, like, they were decent the last 2 quarters against Arizona. They started off terribly. They gave up, I'd say, 80% of the rushing yards in the first half, and then they kind of buckled down. So if they just, this is the thing, if you have 2 bad quarters as a defense out of 8, do I want to say I'll take it? Yeah, I'll take it. And I still trust in this team. I still trust in this offense. I still trust in this defense. I still trust in the coaching. I still trust in Dak Prescott. And of course, all we're going to hear this week is, well, if you can't beat the Niners, then who cares? But we're able to play, and we're able to beat against the Niners.
Is the offensive red zone a concern to you?
Yeah, of course it is.
So what do we do? What do we do to shake it up?
Score touchdowns. I don't know.
How?
I have no idea. I have no idea how you score more touchdowns, because I think today's game is gonna the red zone's gonna be inflated with them being like, okay, well, we're gonna play super conservative because we have such a big lead and kick a field goal if we get to that point. They never had.
I agree with you there that you can't look at today's game in terms of like what they're going to do for next week.
Well, you can only look at one game though. Then, right? There's only been one game that we've played from behind, which was the Arizona Cardinals.
And we didn't do a good job.
But it's like, can you now say that the offense's red zone is a big deal just because they didn't score today when they were playing a conservative offense? I need more than one game of us being behind to then know what we need to do.
Okay, theoretically, you're a play caller right now. You look at the squad. You've seen them in the last 4 weeks in the red zone. They haven't, and not only just one team, but all teams. They've been struggling in the red zone. What do you do? What kind of plays are you calling? Who are you going to? What are your plays that you guys are making?
I'm not throwing a fade route to CeeDee Lamb again to the right side. I'm not doing that. I'm throwing my fade route to Michael Gallup. I'm not throwing into the middle of the field where Dak seems to have issues. I actually would probably try to run an RPO with Dak. I would like to see Dak Prescott keep the ball and run for it when it's like, that used to be one of his biggest strengths. 3rd and 4 or 3rd and 5 and under. One of our biggest strengths used to be Dak was going to take it in and score a touchdown. After his broken ankle, they kind of went away from that, which makes sense. But I'd like to see them bring that aspect back into the game. There's video proof of him handing the ball off and he runs out like they're doing an RPO and he's keeping it and no one's even looking at him. So I think that's something that you could add to the offense that they haven't yet. Maybe it's a little kink that they're going to throw in, but it's tough to say. It's hard to say because they've scored, besides last week, they've scored a lot of points.
EJ Savage from Boys in the Zone says, "Yeah, Dak needs to pull in the RPO, man." Wait, Jay, what are you doing in the red zone? You're up in the red zone right now. What are you doing against the 49ers next week? Because clearly that's been our biggest issue right now as a team, the red zone. What are you doing as a game manager?
I don't know if this makes sense, but I want to run in my first and second down more very wide sets. I want to put more wide receivers.
You want to spread it out. You want to run. You want to run like
Yeah.
a 13. Like a one personnel. So you have a running back, and then everyone else is either or like 11 personnel, where you have a tight end, a running back, and 3 wide receivers.
Yes.
So yeah.
Or 3 tight ends and two wide receivers, whatever. Like, I want to give Dak the options on that offense. Now, whether or not that plays into what they want to do, I don't know if that makes more sense. My argument, fundamentally, what I'm trying to get at is I want to create more opportunities for Dak to be throwing on those close downs that are
Like in the red zone.
effective.
Like in the red zone.
Yeah.
Yep.
On his red downs, I want Dak to be throwing to be testing more.
Another thing he used
I
to
don't
be.
want to go away from TB20
Yep.
if it makes sense. I like running on the first down, picking up 3-4 yards. Like, I like that. So, but has that been working in our red zone? I don't know.
Yeah, that's the thing. Sure, it's good to do. And this is another thing, guys. We had no issue moving the ball between the 20s. The Cowboys had no problem getting the ball, getting the kickoff, and getting into the red zone. It was easy. It looked super easy. It's like they just marched right up, and then they got into the red zone, and it's kind of like
Cold feet.
a little bit of cold feet where it is relevant at the start of the game where they did need to score in the red zone. They did settle for 2 field goals, right? When the game still was relatively close. So there's a bit of a pattern, and as long as you can play good defense, that can mask that a little bit. But at some point, you're going to have a team like San Francisco or Philadelphia or the Dolphins even later on in the year, where you're going to have to match them point for point. And at some point, you're not going to have to. You can't settle for field goals. You got to score.
Hey, time out.
Absolutely,
We got a VOD trade going on right now.
Oh, VOD trade in the house.
Do a shotgun.
We have nothing to shotgun. We don't have any. We're out of booze. There's nothing to shotgun. We're completely out.
We got one.
We got one. So we would love to raid for this VOT trade. We got the funniest thing is VOT raided us our first year, and we were all calling him Voc Lombardi, and they were all lighting us up. But yeah, we got VOT raiding us, and
VOT trade.
we've shotgunned. We've drank our 24 case. We've slammed a bunch of our regular booze. We'd love to do some clown moves for you guys. Unfortunately, all we're gonna say is, it feels good that we're 3-1, and I'm sure with everyone that's coming in here from the Voch Lombardi page, next week is the real test against the 49ers.
Next week is that real test. We got the 49ers coming up. Everyone else until
They're like looking at AJ. You look beautiful. AJ looks great.
Will AJ. Here we go, Will AJ. One of us has a shotgun.
Well, then shotgun.
I'll shotgun.
we got one shotgun left.
Shotgun it, Ad. Shotgun it up. So while he's shotgunning, AJ, I'm going to ask you, biggest we said our Kraken player of the game, who was Daron Not So Bland. If you had to pick an offensive player of the game, who would have been your offensive player of the game?
Without looking at stats,
I test it, AJ.
I'm thinking, Michael Gallup again. I know he did not have the better stats above.
Here's for the VOD
Ferguson.
trade, baby.
VOD trade.
You got him.
VOD trade. Let's do it.
Crack him if you got him. And if this is your guys' first time from the VOT trade, please like and subscribe. We appreciate you guys coming over from Voch Lombardi's channel.
Woo!
We do this every week, every watch along. We're also live on Wednesday nights for the main event. Appreciate the raid. We really do. We all would have loved to have sideways beer chug, as we like to call it, but unfortunately, we drained all of our resources.
Voch, go back and tell Voch it's a shotgun.
No, it's Tom Grossi.
Yeah, Tom Grossi's dad was calling it the sideways beer chug, but I just thought it was funny to still call it the sideways beer chug.
Well, whatever.
Whatever.
No, Cowboys. Offensively, again, I know I'm gonna get a lot of hate for this, and I might not see the field the same.
Preach.
I do not want. I don't see a big difference in what the Cowboys need to do offensively.
No, with the lead.
With the lead.
With the
I know,
lead. The
I know,
Cowboys with the lead do exactly what you did today. Milk the clock, get down there. If you don't get the first down, you're in their area, kick a field goal, move on with your lives. That's fine. It'll be interesting to see the next time when we're down by a couple scores.
Okay, so let's say we're down by 14
or 12 like we were against the Cards.
to those pieces of shit.
Bang Bang Niner gang.
Yeah.
I said it. I didn't want to say it, but I said it.
Now, what I want to do is I want to increase our passing load. I think we got some really good receivers. I mean, Cooks, man, the guy is, he's a specimen. We know who CeeDee Lamb is. No, I don't even need to bring him into the conversation. And then we got
Michael Gallup, MG13, looking like himself a little bit.
Plus, you add in there Tolbert, who
had a sneaky good game.
Shows up and says, hey, don't forget about me. Okay, I'm not gonna.
Dude,
so there's no excuse. There is no excuse.
That Tolbert tackle on the field, running down and making that punt cover tackle.
Oh, yeah.
That's a football play, man. That's a football player right there. Sure, he wasn't on the field getting receptions, or he had a few receptions today, but just watching him down field a punt and smash the guy out, I love to see that. That's almost better to me than watching him catch a first down.
It shows you why he's on the squad, man.
And he's a fit bud.
Sorry, I was.
Any last fucking comments here?
Well, I mean, I think the biggest thing, obviously, everybody's concern is the red zone. I mean, we can't absolutely look at every single game as the absolute for every other game.
Yep.
If that makes sense.
It does.
So play it how it is. If you're going to kick, I don't give a fuck if we're kicking field goals. I really don't. I want the W's this year. I don't care if if Dak Prescott's stat line is up high. Is Dak struggling a little bit in the red zone? Yeah, but it's week 4. We're figuring it out. I think next week for the 49ers, our defense is going to show up, and then our offense needs to play to their strengths.
Yep.
Yeah, a lot of the passes and a lot of the moves that Mike McCarthy and Dak Prescott are doing are solid. I think when we get to the red zone, my thought, if I was in the red zone, because this was the original question.
Maybe they should start calling it the green zone. Not funny. You guys didn't like that one?
In the green zone,
or the gold zone, or the rainbow zone,
I didn't know who you were aiming that at. So
in the Wario zone,
yeah, the WayJ zone.
In the WayJ zone.
No, you don't ever venture into the WayJ zone.
If I was calling the plays when I get to the red zone with the offense, I'm looking at guys like Rico Dowdle. I'm doing more checkdowns to the flats versus trying to go over the middle. 2 weeks in a row, Dak. I mean, last week Dak got picked off from Arizona. This week he almost got picked off in that middle.
Yeah, but we don't count almost.
We don't count almost, but I think in my mind, I would go to a TB20 or a Rico Dowdle. I wouldn't be necessarily running. First down, I'd do a run play, and then second down, I'd do a check down, and then the third, I would go for something like a tight end to a hander shot or a Fergie.
Cute little tight end that you're looking for.
A cute little tight end in the middle.
You're such a vanilla pudding.
Okay, let's get final thoughts. Let's get some final thoughts here. Who wants to lead out with their final thoughts?
I will now.
Ad, was that your final thought, or is that your lead up to your final thought?
Well, no, I was just rattled by all this Vouch raid stuff.
Yeah, Vouch raid stuff. Yep.
And then I was wanting to give my comment on the red zone stuff. So
hey, had to do
that's not my final comment of the week, though.
Okay, that's not. WayJ. Yeah, of course you can.
WayJ weighing in. Look, final thought, Daron Bland. He is him, man. The kid came to play, and sure, I think one of them were easy.
Did you spill?
No spill.
Almost.
One of them were easy. The other one was him working for it. And God bless him.
3 interceptions, 2 returned for touchdowns.
Yep.
That's a nice stat line. Ad, what do you got?
Wasn't it?
Do you want me to go
two
first?
Interceptions, 1
Yeah, but 3 total on the season. He has 3 interceptions on the
sure,
season,
sure,
2 for
yes.
touchdowns.
Okay.
I guess I should have said that. My bad.
Sorry.
Again, our defense makes us look like a dominating team. So obviously, I'm a little bit worried. I'm a little worried about our offense. However, it's a cumulative team. It's a team game. So a score.
It's like they're a cult. They all pitch in.
Yeah, like I mean, I'm not going to look at like offense isn't just going to win our games. I mean, our defense comes out, they show up. I don't give a fuck if our defense scores more touchdowns than our offense. A win is a win, like Dominic Toretto says. It's not by whether you
Win's a win.
Wins a win.
whether you win for by
You
an
gotta say
inch or a
you
mile.
gotta go deeper voice though. You gotta at least do
It's
your
not
best. Dom.
whether you win by an inch or a mile. We're family here, dog. I don't give a shit. If a win is a win to
If
me.
you want to fuck my sister, you better be good at racing cars.
Give the offense more weeks to fucking to throw it down and to get their system in play. I think, our offense knows that they're not performing the way they need to, and the defense is absolutely stepping up and winning the games for us today.
Booshy boosh. 28-16. That was the score we lost to the Arizona Cardinals last week. Every single Cowboys fan was in absolute. It just felt like everybody was running around with their heads chopped off. I tried to stay off social media.
This isn't the team.
And they're losers. They're losers. And then we bounced back and we beat Bill Belichick and Mac Jones to the tune of 38-3. I don't know if you can have a better. I don't think you can have a better bounce back game. That's they came to play today. That's all that matters. They came with 38-3. The Dallas Cowboys came to play. We will be live on Wednesday night with the main event to talk up one of the most important games after AJ gives another final point.
That's for Big O Chubbs right there.
Big O Chubbs had to get us that little dance in. Okay, we will be back Wednesday night. We will be live at 6 p.m. Pacific time, 8 p.m. Central, 9 p.m. Pacific. It's Niner week, boys. Shit gets real.
Oh, I love Niner week.
Shit.
Fuck you, Nate.
Let's
Fuck you, Nate.
Shit's getting real. So for the bandwagon boys over there, and Bet's over here. If you're a Cowboys fan and you know someone that doesn't like the Cowboys, tell them to go fuck themselves. Let's go.